Général Djamba, assez Oriol. Mon tas de tête à mon bois, le bois même, mais qu'à pas moi là. Anissé, et blanc, merci beaucoup. Encore la magie, et puis arrêtez-moi. Aïe, et puis arrêtez-moi. C'est un j'ai été plié de sa mère, on y a plein de côté. Et pas pour faire quoi de plus, de pour d'avoir ça. Et dans le petit yabonia, tu prends mon épée de manuo. Way, we are way. Your be money caillou. Parce que way blé maïe agnana. Mon papa connaît pas firme. Merci beaucoup. Et bien way, aïe way. Et la personne se pour. Le très ancien Yves Canet, à Seigneur Okaï. Le grand frère Oula Michael. Allons seulement. Et way, mais. Et la somme, non, mais way, mais. Classé maintenant, et way, mais. Loisa ma guata, et way, mais. Panoche, manuata, et way, mais. La wadi matuata, et way, mais. C'était Florent. Way, des on t'y a fait. Y'a bien passé de we ready. On est chichi, mon yaway. On m'en a d'abi et d'applaud. Oh, j'applaud mon pédio. Quand y'a ton plaisir, soit fort ready. Soit fort le siaye, et tu y papa. Mon yaway, que ouais. T'as mon époix pour forcer. Way, yeah, way. You de n'oublier ce yeah. Car sans un capable de way. Bonnie Salva, tout the way. Pourquoi ça y est, tout the way. You want to have found the way. The way, the way, the 40, the way. Where the way you. Mon grand frère Clé Armel, depuis très longtemps. Pour le way where the poor man dit. There was a way there must have been agitated. Pour le way where the poor man. There was a way there that you want man. For the way where the poor man. There was a way there that you felt some more. The way you want someone more dear. One idea in a guide, I don't go home. Oh, the idea, you my dear, my young way, you to that. Calvé, il y a un là. Moi, qui t'y est, t'as y allé tout y est. À aussi des Français. On n'a pas un léger qui est pointé en soi pour la soin d'un way et ton daddy. Oui, c'est bien ma gaga sound, yeah. Kawa ma pama wa se ga sound, yeah. Digi ma dia kene ma wa se ga sound, yeah. Way lady, come on. Boy, daddy, anyway. Boy, you bring go away. Boy, you need anyway. Tell them you're no anyway. What that dear was moving again, you must want. I am a poor anyway. Oh, the young man, my way down way, you don't that it. Mama, you are by your web. I go where they were down by a power. You know, way, you don't that it. Mama, now did I get I never want to the Wula. Oh, Simon, you pray, Mama, way, you don't that it. I never go no, it's a right. When I am down, I am going on the cloud. Mama, way, you don't that it. I don't have any more glass, yeah. Ọmọ jáde di nya ọka yọ inú bá yà ó ṣe mọ ọfà ìgbà ní àwọn ọmọ kan wé ẹtọ rẹ dìde. Wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ ètò àṣìníkù wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ ìfowópamọ́ nù fún chief was Tapa Pomoma Kuaji, Mapangway, Bayan Claudio, Popi on the Pontayo Jepoma. Tayas Gracias, Ama Pasia, Yoda, Siaki, Mapangway, Mapabanya, President of Zimbabwe, and I'm Colonel Penasa Marie. Yaukai, Yaudiawe, Mapangway, Why was it for Masana Maflua?
Let's see here. Let's stop this music. What a beautiful song fading away from neighboring La Côte d'Ivoire. This is All Things Considered, and we want to welcome all of our viewers and listeners across the globe, right here in the USA and other parts of the world. James Davis, our primetime viewers listener. John Alexander Kuyage calls good evening, welcome. Abraham Bagel, let's be a little bit magnanimous and give recognition to these high working time committed folks of the Liberia Public Radio. You give us the strength, the zeal to do what we are doing here. We want to welcome you here this evening. Emmanuel Tia, good evening. Aaron, so the legendary former player turned politician as well, strong advocate of the George Weah administration. Good evening. Dan Dennis, Edwin Giffler is in the hall. We say good evening to welcome Waterloo Wine. Yes, Young Babe Young. I mean, are you a Chinese man or what? Stanley Flant, Marlon Bro. Prince and all of you great guys, Prince T.S. Sagawens Sr. We say good evening to welcome to the show. Tonight is All Things Considered. All Things Considered is a program perfectly suited to also make you to form part of the conversation ongoing in Liberia. We say welcome and thank you so much. And we are glad to be part of our company, to welcome to the show. I am your host and anchor, Alfonso Zenso, right here from the East Coast, the New England Bureau of the Liberia Public Radio. The panelists will be here. Just do us a favor, just hit the share button and invite someone at your company. Thank you so much. Let's get the ball rolling. Time is fast spent. It's 8:06 Eastern Standard Time. Here we go. Good evening. We say welcome to all our viewers, listeners across the globe. Thank you so much for being part of today's program. As usual, I am your host and Chief Angot, Alfonso Zenso, right here at the New England Bureau desk of the Liberia Public Radio. Going purple, going gray, going red, going white. You decide why it is. But as you know, Wednesday, All Things Considered is meant to give you voice. And so I'm considering here, I think it's about Liberia, and we must have these conversations in a broader context. So I'm going to display the link here. If for any reason, sometimes our talking point is above the speed, is above the limit, it doesn't suit your taste. But Wednesday is dedicated purposely to make your voice or to get your voices heard, or to also talk on things that some of the things that we don't talk about. If you are sedition, if you are liberty partisan, you are unity partisan, ALP, LPP of Tiawangonglo, you can use that time literally to speak for yourself. So I'm going to put the link here, but if you are in, you must be in a very comfortable position. I'm going to put it here. If for any reason you want to participate here, I think we must be able to give our folks the opportunity to also do that so that their voices can be heard. So I'm going to put the link here just in case you want to form part of it. And this is what we want to do. Let us not give credence to only these people we call top politicians. Whatever we say here, trust me, people listen, people follow. And they can be, your contribution can be a deciding factor. So we shouldn't just rely on these politicians, because when you rely on them, it's not guaranteed. They have their own places where they can go to get their soundbite, to talk. Not that we don't reach out, we do. But for some reason, they find it very, very difficult. They will agree, they will accept, they will honor our invitation. That's what I want to give credit to Dr. Monimba. He was very spontaneous and he came strictly to answer our call. Fella to Mary Gay, we say good evening, to welcome to Derek. Ambrose Payment Johnson, we say good evening, to welcome. You just right in time. We have just started. So we reach out to them, but they are very, very, very much calculative. They are very, very much selective. They want to have a free pass. They do not want to answer some tough questions. They want to feel comfortable, be relaxed, and people feel them into their bite, and they just get away. So when we call them, we agree, and then in the dying minute, they say, oh, okay, I was supposed to come, but I get an appointment. Okay, when the man say he or she has an appointment, what else can you do? You can't, there's nothing you can do. Our job is to reach out. They have the right to accept and to reject. And so when they choose to reject, then that's it. There's a guy who was contesting. Here comes our man, Achimo Frederick. Good evening. I don't know, Achimo, I'm not sure whether you have established your identity in terms of which party, but it looks like, if I had to make an educated guess, okay, money, bo. You take the one you win, you take the one you lost. Achimo, I strongly believe you're a strong supporter of Ambassador Joseph Newman Boyka. If I missed the ball, just tell me, say, my man, you miss it. But good evening. Thank you so much. Well, we highly appreciate your commitment, your tweets, your comments, and all of you interaction. We go back to those lines. And please feel free to disagree with us, to question our talking point, to ask a question, to express your opinion as well. So the liberal, this one, you look like this person. My man Perry say, how you call it? Some kind of, what kind of word he used? Some kind of something sedition, whatever. But we question people's judgment, their credibility, their way of doing things. We are very apprehensive of other people. So I can tell you, you have all right as well to be apprehensive about what we say, what we do, and to wonder who we are and what we represent. And this is why we don't, Sarah, good evening, welcome. So you feel free, be at liberty to try to express. The only thing we ask, and so far it has been working, for which we should commend all of you, is the level of civility that is maintained on this network. From the onset, that I can. Very few people come with want to muddy the water and stuff like that. But you know, someone told me, in the absence of some crazy thing in society, the society is incomplete. This is why the society is a combination of people of all categories. You got to get stupid people there. You got to get wise people. I mean, all different people. If you don't have that, there's no society. I don't know about heaven, but there's no society on planet Earth that you're going to have everything peanut butter and jelly. No. Yeah, some people got to, different people. It's like in the town, the village. There are some people there. This whole town can be quiet, but as soon they appears, everybody on their heels, everybody's standing up because he or she is the quarter. And so that person is noted of that. It's the same thing that we are doing. So I want to thank you so much, Eleanor, Famata, Josephus. We say thank you, good evening. So don't leave this conversation with us. Don't rely on us. Believe in what we are doing. And the reason I'm saying this, we are all human beings. Sometimes emotions, something always trigger thing And you will sense, you will see that. But ultimately, our goal is all of us, we all must be part of the conversation. These people you call your political leaders, they are not from Lazarus. They are not from Jerusalem. Look at their past records. See how far they have come, some of the decisions that they have made, what they have told us before in the past. So what is a guarantee now that whatever they are saying to us is real? Nothing. Because they all have records. And all they are doing, they are being very defensive of their attitude or some of the position they took at the time, and they don't even come out to admit they are wrong. Hey, Wallet, good evening, welcome. I'm not sure your position, Mazik. Good evening, good to have you here. So we shouldn't put our life on the line for them. If this person is elected, Liberia will be like it would be, everything would be okay. No, that's not correct. That's not true. Life is a risk. Politicians, look, when you, especially when you get into state power, there's a lot of overnight transformations. Trust me or not. It can be so fast in the train overnight. You can't just believe. Someone that today you trusted, you're so much confident in. If this person is there, everything will be okay. By the time you go low, bump is blown over the road. How do you say, yeah, I thought this person here, that's who they are. That's who the politicians are. You see some of the analysts here, one day you confuse. One day for the other person, when a going tough is not looking right, then they come out and say, you know what, they met here, and they will blow everything off the window. Another day, when they hear a little good news, then they come, they start praying. They're praying, they don't close their eyes, but they're praying. I'm not calling anybody's name. I'm just saying things that people have said, analysts have said on this network. You know how long these people have been praying for? They have prayed for, they started praying for the late child Walker Bronsky. It didn't work. They went and jumped on the other side and started praying for, what's his name? I don't want to call him here this evening. Today is Wednesday. How you would pray, you can't even look to the old man out there. Oh, my goodness. The guys, some of them are here. Okay, let's leave that topic. Guys, good evening. I'm going to put the link out here, and we will really, really be glad. And trust me, LPR, if you follow the work of the National Public Radio, we are not like them. We want to be. We like what they are doing. It's a public network, so we like what they are doing, and that's one of the stars we are modeled. But the analysts, they are here. This is All Things Considered, from Wednesday to Wednesday. Other people lifting hands, other people hands coming down, other people being politically disappointed and left by the wayside. Fragile relationship among allies, political allies. That's the uncertainty of politicians. Let's start the ball rolling. The analysts are here already. Let's get the evening going right here. Time is fast spent. I am Afonso Zienso of the Liberia Public Radio. Welcome to the show. That introduces the program All Things Considered. Sis Oman, good evening. Josephine Hammond, good morning, good evening, afternoon, depending on your location. Let me come to Ocean State. Amongst my mother's children, I love myself the best, and for the most part, he and I, we are in good accord. And you have two other folks, one from somewhere, how do you call it? Where this guy. What is this lady who retired from politics but still in the house? Mali, you know that lady? That tight lady from the Democrat side.
We talking about the speaker, Nancy Pelosi?
I'm calling you.
Okay.
He's around from that end there. One day he with this side, another day he will decide. Why?
Yeah.
Why the radio hosts? Why they can be consistent? Why they try to confuse their audience? Let me just bring in. I know he play here. His blood is boiling. The liberal progressive, one of my, he's my good ally and good guy. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Saul. Thank you for the show, and we're here again to have conversation. We're ready to go.
Yeah, you said a good process that I gave you. I hope the board will do something. I don't know when I will get on the late thing. Our own would just volunteer and tell we inside a volunteer.
But the board chairman in Liberia, you can call them.
You see the man? When it comes to money, he made reference to Liberia. Okay, guys, good evening. So let's get a ball rolling. Patrick, good evening, just right in time. Okay, guys, good evening. How is the day going so far? Let me start with Ocean State. John Octavius Malice Senior. Sooner or later, we need to establish our public relation firm outside of this network here. Nothing free, man. But don't Samson Tour will not be part of it.
No, not at all.
No, this guy, he the man who always appealing, call people, put them in the room. Are you kidding me? You think we in tour town? Okay, Mally Jones. Good evening. How are you?
Well, by His grace, I want to thank God for today. At least we made it up to this platform.
Right. Hey, thank you so much for the commitment, and that's the thing. It's a protocol committed people. They don't get paid. They don't get anything. But every event we are here, Town Crier. The Liberal Progressive. How are you doing today?
Well, thank God. God is just wonderful every day.
And a special project from Saxton Road Network.
Well, not really, but on a serious note, you usually don't take things for granted, and as we do these things, even though we know what we're doing, but from time to time, the total mindset gets in, and you try to say, "I'm from total, I know everything," and then come to find out it's not this is not total. This is the United States of America, and they have their own way of doing it. If you don't follow it, you're on your own. And then we're finding out different time to time we have these kinds of projects, but we're doing fine. We're doing fine. Thank God. The kids, everybody, the entire family, wife, everybody's doing fine. We said, thank God, thank God.
Okay, all right. As usual, Conan Katot, the lover boy of LPR, Mazola Gizi. Good evening. He's the host, dancing of Jesus, based in PA. Good evening, Trocant Liberata. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us here as well. And all of you great people, tenants, salute. Good evening. Yeah, cameraman, Joe Conto. Joe Conto say, I think he say I'm a sedition or maybe ALP. I'm not sure which party he say I for, but Tom Maulod, good evening. Okay, this is all things considered. Wednesday to Wednesday is a lot. And with you guys' permission, I want to throw the link there. Joe, any of you guys who are willing to join this conversation here to tell your side of the story, to tell your part of Liberia, how you want Liberia to be, not just us. Trust me, I'm going to put a link out there. You want to come by video, you can do that. We'll put a phone number out so we can have this conversation. Too much distraction ongoing. But let me go into each one of you to analyst playbook, host of a conversation with Samson to the liberal progressive. He loves this name so much. You don't believe you're liberal. You don't know why you entitle yourself to say you're liberal. Your attitude, your way of doing things, it does not look like a liberal way of working things out. So, tell us here a little bit before we get going. Why? How you got to this point? What makes you a liberal?
Mr. So, your description of my liberal ideas and my liberal behavior are your opinions. And I'm not here to dispel you or try to dissuade you from those opinions. You're entitled to it. What you're not entitled to is your own facts. I'm a liberal all throughout. I am not one of those northern liberals you have around you. People from the north, from the northeast, the liberal from the north, they are undependable. You can't count on them. And we watched them during the civil rights movement here in the United States. We know them. We know them. They're just like some of these preachers who will want to go to church on Sunday and preach holy down wherever. But then when they come to the civil rights issue, they want to stay away from it. They don't want to be part of it, many of them. So I am not like that. I am the liberal.
But
now,
tell us who you are. You're talking about other people you can't even get to.
The fight here is this. The fight here is that I believe that everyone under the umbrella of God, you are entitled to free will, free living, and
free will,
freedom of enjoyment. Now, I also believe that as human beings, all of us that have been given the privilege to be to whatever position you're in, you look behind and find your fellow men that are unable to get there, you help them out. You don't go do like the Republican or the conservative. When they claim the ladder, they say, I'm taking the ladder away from you. You use your own bootstrap to come up. Whereas when they were going up, they were using the ladder, public ladder, to go up. But when they get there, they want the public ladder to be taken away. That kind of behavior is not what the liberal is about. So I believe that we have to help everybody, every one of us. Let me just tell you one thing right now. Nobody, any of the successful people, billionaires and ever, they didn't get that money all by themselves. People helped them throughout. So why now you got the money, you want to be so mean and so wicked? This is not the liberal way. The liberal believe you get some, you share. You get it? I'm not saying share to the point that you will be destitute either, but share so that people will know that you're giving. I believe as a liberal that you as a human being have the free will to express yourself freely. I will disagree with you, but I must accept the fact that you have the ability to express yourself freely. I will disagree with you, but I must do so with respect and responsibility. Mr. So, the liberal is not sleeping. You think I hear to come kumbaya with your conservative idea? You can bring Dr. Malice and say, hear myself from Ocean State. You think I'm here that would frighten me? You bring a PhD here, you think that's going to frighten me? Because he's from the Ocean State and frighten the liberal? You asking, we're going to follow our own thing here, LPR. Do we want to say he's there? Answer, no, we don't want to. Is that right? What you don't want me, that's okay. I will go along with myself with my liberal idea, Mr. So I really came on the show here tonight to discuss Liberian issue. I didn't know that I was here to be put on the microscope here this afternoon, and I will shine. People love me already. The audience love me already. They love my liberals' behavior. What I'm not going to do, Mr. So, as a liberal, I'm not going to lie. Even if I support a particular political candidate, if that person is not doing something that I don't believe in, I would say so. If that person, even if I'm not supporting a political candidate that is doing good, for example, President Weah, if he's doing good, I will praise him. He's my president. So if you think the liberal is all this place wobbling, it's your opinion. You're entitled to it. What you're not entitled to is your own facts. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Can you get a little drink? I think you really climbed the hill from Tota. You want to get a little drink, so are you okay?
All the time. That's why God put me in the liberal state. He didn't put me to Idaho. He didn't put me to Texas. He didn't put me over there, over Kentucky. He took me from Ohio and brought me to California, the liberal state.
Where California, I should tell the audience how you left Ohio.
Mr. So we're not going to go through that one. Where here in California, taxes are high, and we're happy to pay our taxes because the government is the hold on, you brought it up. The government should be an instrument where people's services to the general population will be dispersed freely. Not where in Liberia people stealing light every day, then they say they're doing good.
Wow. Okay, Mr. Jones.
Yes, sir.
The guy, it's like he already nervous though.
Well, I think the progressive just left a very good premise this evening. And there are so many takeaway in his premise he just laid. And it seems to be he has already put on his glove, his boxing glove, and probably ready for the boxing. But the only thing missing, he doesn't know who will be the referee for this boxing thing. But he's ready to box tonight.
Mhm.
Yes. But anyway, we will give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. And sadly, if you don't want to mention it, let
And
me
the good
mention
thing
it.
about it is that we have an invincible referee who will decide, probably in the interest of the homeboys.
Invincible 11. And sadly, what he fails to tell his few handful of people, very few people. I think Gene Davis, I'm not even sure whether Jim Davis that he fan with this guy here, because the guy he has created a scenario today, 1 or 2% will be his favorite, but then before the show comes to an end, we kick the can down the road and then we say, but this man here said we don't know who he is. So, but guys, Lion Ted, good evening, Yakun. So I'm going to be putting the number out here, but like we said, this is all things considered, and I think some of
Mr. So, could you please welcome Taliesin, the young man from a few miles away from me here who's watching as well. And this young man, I really, really admire him.
what his name?
His name is Taliesin. He's a young man. When he came here in the California area, I saw him when he started. I saw him, very hardworking young man, and he's doing excellent right now. Got married few years, or few months or a year ago, and he's doing excellent. I just want people to know that these are some of the young people that were really, really proud around here. He's very hardworking person, and he's doing excellent. I want to welcome him here as well.
Okay, yeah, I mean, and we're just going to add our voice to that, Mr. Collins, Thomas Collins. Is it his name, Taliesin?
Yeah,
Or Allison? What his name, Allison or Taliesin?
Taliesin,
Oh,
Talesson.
okay. All right. Well, there you have it. And our own man, Vincent, Benson. Good evening. So, guys, they are going to be putting the number there as well. And we want all of us to have these conversations. And we are pretty well aware. Most of you, we choose to do what we're doing. You want to be a listener, but you are well equipped and knowledgeable to what is happening. So we want to have all of this sort of conversation here. We should just be the facilitator, but you can be a very good contributor to Dualo. Good evening, welcome. So the link is there. If you want to come via the video, all you're going to do, you copy that link, copy and paste it in your browser to, just be in a quiet, nice place, and that's all. But I'm going to put a number there as well. I think we need to talk. There are some things that we don't talk about. Too much of distractions is ongoing. At the same time, simultaneously, as the result, we are not getting it. So, all things considered, so let's start with the folks in the higher this evening. Lebrot, what is in your playbook?
Well, as usual,
Taff and Taliesin. Okay, all right, thank you so much. Peter Lint Garwood Roberts, welcome to the show. So let's hear from you. What is of most concerned? Yeah.
Well, it's not the one. Yeah, not most, but it's a concern. Let me start. I got two things here that I want to touch on quickly. One is, up to this point, having had spent almost 2 hours here begging Ambassador Wakai to come and say something. I've not, maybe if you have done that, but I've not seen it, so I can't talk about that. And another thing is, CDC continue to put their foot in their mouth, which I think they're very good at that. We saw on the social media, I'm not too sure how true that is, but according to social media, the speaker is in the southeastern doling out new brand new money that people cannot get their hands on in Monrovia, but he was able to get it. And Yaga Colabar told us that the last time. But another thing is, Ambassador, what's his name? Pro Tem Albert Chair is now batching the Ambassador accusing him of supporting opposition instead of addressing the ambassador statement. The ambassador was very specific in his pronouncement, but instead of addressing those issues, instead he tried to blame the ambassador with the opposition, thereby making him and his statement to be nothing of such as opposition statement, and which is quite, for me, putting a foot in your mouth, because what Abacha faced to realize is because of these people giving money back to Liberia, people like Abacha is able to feather his nest, according to the ambassador, because of the money coming from the United States and the money the Liberians diaspora continue to send, and it gave people like Abacha the opportunity to feather their nest while Liberians are sleeping in the rain. Another thing is, today is, according to the ambassador, he has a press statement here, and I thought that was a very good one, press statement about the press freedom. He said everywhere else, the press freedom is being curtailed by many regimes that are of tyrant regime. However, Liberia was not one of those he named. In fact, according to the press release here, that Liberia is at the top of freedom, press freedom. So I think President Weah got a high mark. Press freedom. I think the president is doing wonderful. Now, instead of the buffoon over there in CDC, instead of taking the higher ground on this and continue to work with ambassador, you have the president pro tem, who is president pro tem of the Republic of Liberia, is now bad-mouthing the ambassador, as though what the ambassador saying was not true. And so those are the things that I'm looking at here tonight, Mr. So.
Now, what are you going out of breath for?
Mr. So, these are very, very important issue. You know, and people like Abacha, they don't know because of their behavior. By law, follow many Liberians over there when they go to the American embassy, they can't get visa because they kind of the man over there. What the ambassadors say really that will cause people like Abacha.
What is the correlation of what he's saying with ordinary Liberian going for visa?
Because when they bring their bylaw, they follow every one of us. God forbid.
All right.
They need to go. They need to go, and they will go. They will go.
Where?
CDC is out.
Oh, is that what you're talking about? Oh,
yes.
Well, that's the main going to say that. Mr. Jones.
Yep.
All things considered, where are we losing sight? What are we missing here? What are we not grappling? So what are we not focusing on? So what is the distraction being caused by politicians, whether deliberately or unknowingly, or it's been calculative? They are very calculative in doing stuff here. And so what are we missing here that we need to recalibrate ourselves to be able to have the conversation that we should be having, to give the electorate a sense of making informed decision, helping them to make some informed decision?
Well, that's a very good premise for our platform tonight and platform listeners. But I would like to deviate a bit tonight from this whole political scenario. I've been doing some research and focusing on a few things for tonight, but mine is in the form of a question. Yeah. now we have decided as a nation to practice what I call in quote the American democracy, because we don't have one on our own. So we are also practicing the American democracy. And in the American democracy, there are so many things happening there. But one of the things that is happening there, I don't know whether we're going to adapt it or we're going to reject it, is the legitimization of LGBTQ and have it put into law. Are we going to do that? That's the first question. Uganda has already passed that law, and we are almost like stepchild to the United States. And coming down on LGBTQ in Liberia, I'm sure we're going to be in trouble for violating some human rights somewhere. So my question is, do we see a future where law will be passed to legitimize the status of these people?
So let's get it right here.
Question now
Mhm.
is, I know we'll soon be going to election. Apart from we are probably succeeding himself, assuming Joseph Boakai, Ambassador Boakai, or Kumi, or Tiawon Gongolo succeed to take over the state of affairs, is it going to be business as usual? They're going to still look up to the same police structure as it is to move ahead, or they're going to put something one side? What would be the first three priority of a new opposition government in Liberia? The first three priority. So I've been thinking about some of those things tonight, and probably maybe other panelists who may see sense in it, maybe we can analyze some of these things. I'm saying this because assuming Ambassador Boakai take over, the first 1 month, 3 months is the same police that are going to be there. It's the same military apparatus that are going to be there the first 100 days. Are they going to change all these people? Now they will be coming to power. Like what His Excellency George Weah did. When he came to power, he had to please most of his partisans, whether the economy was strong or it wasn't strong, they just put people into places. If the opposition take over, are we going to see something like this? And if the answer is yes, then we'll be running into what I call business as usual.
What a press brought in critical question here this evening. Hopefully, I'm not sure whether we are the right person to kind of like, we would just give our views, we just give our analysis with the help of our audience, our viewers, when we put the number out here. And hopefully we can do it with authenticity. This is why it's so much important. Jones, you just lay out. This is why it's so much important. With 160 days to go. And we do not, unfortunately, we are seeing species, those same old species being restructured. Take the one that were in the last time spoken about from the last paragraph, you bring it to the second paragraph, retweet it some kind of way, and put it. This is why we need to have these candidates, the experience. They are real talking heads. And when I say and sometimes the liberal, he flips up and then he calls me whatever he wants to, but that's okay. We need to start having a sense of these people who are going to be around them in terms of decision making, their policy. That's the policy we need to start talking about now. Their agenda, to what they represent, who they are, how do they intend to address these issues? You're not going to fire all of the men and women in the police, immigration, but what sort of reform, restructuring that you are bringing? What is it disciplined? How will it be different from what we have now to give people a sense? And I was asking this question here. What his name's Dr. Monuba here. Yeah, we all talk about crown. Everybody, oh, well, we're not see people doing this. It's not a matter of saying it. How will you perfect that? You have all of your supporters who are chanting behind you, who are clapping, who are singing. Do you think they are singing because they love you so much and they just don't love yourself? Because they want to be accommodated, whether they are competent, whether they are qualified, they want to be. And that could potentially be another problem because the size of the government will be significantly increased because you have to satisfy these people. What is their plan? What is their agenda for the disadvantage? The same very politicians' behavior, their attitude causing, and we have thousands of our brothers and sisters cross country. We do not know how and where the stopping point of a rehabilitation center. How are you going to deal with those people? What are your plans? This is why it's so much crucial that when we come to these conversations, these national conversations, and I'm quite sure the audience, the viewer themselves, people who are in Liberia spending their high-end $5, $2 to listen. And when people come and start talking tabata and just talk about themselves, and it's kind of like it's a problem. And I hope this will, our core will kind of like bear out. I'm thinking by this time, people who are in the race, it is glaring, it's out there now. Their conversation will be policy oriented. Their discussion will be based on infrastructure. We're supposed to be seeing somebody now who, with the expertise, will be talking about health, education, how education going to be reformed, how will the Boyka, how will the Cummings administration, how much the Gongo administration, how much they intend to invest into education, and why. And not just that, when we get it, everything going to be bread and butter. I want to see them getting outside of Liberia and start talking with donors, international community, meeting some other world leaders, try to be more presidential, get out there, not just only on LPR and Spoon TV. I know that Liberal is uncomfortable with what I'm saying right now, but I'm saying just the fact, but I'm going to give him the opportunity. Liberal, you heard my guy here from the Ocean State. He asked a very critical question. Now, is it time that we begin to see the skeleton working team of these people? When they are elected, when will we start seeing person who going to be speaking some specific, addressing education, like your era, addressing the infrastructure, not just only talking about the road bad, no road to Southeast. Okay, you want to be president now. How do you intend? Where do you think the money going to come from? If you say you're going to use hundreds or millions of dollars to get that way, where is that money come from? What is the conversation now you are having with the outside world community? What extent, what is their appeal to donors right now? And I know somebody will say, well, they are not in power, they are not doing this. Okay, they need to start walking that walk because they are walking towards the executive mansion. Liberal.
Thank you.
Let me put a number there so we're going to have our people here to call in here. Maybe people don't want to like to come back, but go ahead, be talking.
Thank you. And this one.
Is it possible to connect your phone to not to interrupt you? I don't
want to use my phone.
What?
I don't want to use my phone.
Yeah, papi, that's what I got.
Go ahead, put my number up there. Put my number up there.
Yeah, I just want to put multiple numbers, so just in case. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
No, as you know, on a very serious note, this is what set LPR apart from the rest of the social media talking heads and what have you. Yeah, we consider ourselves also like talking heads. So I'm not gonna put us far away from that, but at least we are blessed to have intellectuals among us who would throw these kinds of deep, soul-searching type questions intellectually without using degrading language to describe brothers and sisters who perhaps might be different intellectually, mentally, and whatever it is from us. Doc, I think your question is quite in place, and I will hope that those who are seeking for these high offices will also consider our brothers and sisters who are considered to be like the different from us, so to speak, LBGTQ or whatever they call them. I'm really not familiar with I know the term, but I'm not. It's not everyday term that I use.
Yeah.
But quite frankly, we're all not immune. I think many of us in our own Liberian community, we have brothers and sisters like that. We have daughters, we have sons, we have brothers, we have sisters, that are all, we're all, many of us know one or two people in our own community. The point here that I want to make on that is this. Those brothers that are part of that community, the LBGTQ community in Liberia, of Liberian descent, I will ask them why it is true that your right must be respected at all times. You cannot and you must not, I would suggest, wrap yourself in an American flag and present yourself to the Liberians. First thing I would say, you have to know that Liberia is a place where there is culture. And deep into our culture, these things been existing for years and years, long before we even Christ ever stepped forward here. It's in the Bible. But yet still, many people in the culture frown on those behavior. And so I would say these people, first of all, must found themselves together as a group, and you must confront the biggest among us, those who think they are from heaven and nothing else. You must confront them intellectually, respectfully. It doesn't mean that you're afraid. But when you explain to them what the process you people are going through, that this is not just something you feel like doing, this is something that is within you as being in your DNA. It'll be difficult for many Liberians to accept. I understand that. But as they put themselves together and engage fellow Liberians openly, having these type of discussion, sooner or later, Liberian will get warm to those type of idea. However, the politicians themselves, those who are in high places, they must also start discussing these issues, not in a degrading form and not by the weight of Uganda behavior.
Yeah.
These things must be discussed as human rights issues, because they have the right to live freely and love whoever they want to love and be with whomever they want to be with. And this is what I say, it's none of your business. However, all I say to this group, don't flunk it out. Don't throw it in the face of people who perhaps might recoil. Because if you flunk that out, they will go back into their shell and become defensive. But if you present it as being part of the Liberian conversation, overall social conversation, then I think perhaps you will find some receptive ears, or they might not agree with you immediately, but you have to struggle. You have to fight for it. It is your right. But no good right comes to you by sleeping. Every right you earn, you got to fight for it.
Okay, this is one of
yeah.
So, folks, the number is out. These are consequential.
Okay, let me answer this, Mr. So. Do you want to answer this?
Yeah, if somebody calling you, that's fine. Just if I'm talking, say just interrupt me. That somebody calling.
Yeah, but the It's not connected here. Caller, just hold on. Hold on, let me see if but go ahead, Mr. So, please.
Yeah. What I'm saying, we should open up for this sort of conversation. The society is involved. I don't like it. Other people don't like it. Other people like it. It's not. We can give our own personal view, opinions on all this stuff, but we gotta be the society now. We are in a volatile society, and this is why these people who are seeking for the highest office, Mr. Jones, because at the end of the day, guess what?
Caller, just hold on 1 minute, Mr. So.
So they're gonna be the people. No, if the caller is there, that's fine. You can.
Yeah, he's on. Go ahead, caller, Mr. So. Go ahead.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah. Go ahead. This 612 will hold on, but go ahead with the caller there. Caller, are you there from Mr. To?
Yeah, I'm here.
612, hold on 1 second. Let's go to Samson first.
Yeah,
Samson.
hello. This is Nankiamu. How you doing?
Okay. Wait, is that on your line?
Yeah, now come on.
Okay, hey, come on, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for picking up the call, and it's nice hearing your voice again.
Hmm.
Well, all things considered, I really called because of the last comment that was made by the honorable man, Mr. To. You see, we come from a country that is rich in tradition and also rich in religious activity. So the lifestyle of the alphabet people is not something that Liberia going to accept easily, like how it is in the United States. The culture in the United States and that of Liberia is quite different. So when we're discussing these things, we shouldn't bash our other African country, like how you say about Uganda. The people in Uganda, their culture there is quite different. That's why they are standing their ground. They don't want it in the society. And let's be frank, the United States go into other country and see that those country people don't accept the lifestyle. Like for example, in Saudi Arabia or most of the African Arab countries, and they don't force them. They don't force their will on them to say, you know, if you don't accept it because of human rights, we're going to put sanctions on you. This or we're going to deny you this. They only say these things to African countries because African countries are vulnerable. They don't have nothing. If you go in Africa, in an African country that do not go by this way of lifestyle, you have no reason, no right to force it on the people there. That's why today in Ghana, Uganda, and other places in Africa, people are talking about this. So we shouldn't delve into this conversation about Liberia. We're already coming from a background where we have experienced war and stuff, the trauma associated with that. They continue to humble the country, and then we go into the other conversation again. I believe it's going to create more problem for our country. We are not prepared for that conversation right now.
Okay.
So we shouldn't bash the other African country because they're taking a stand.
So come on, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Mr. So, if you don't mind. Let me ask you this. Are you saying that that lifestyle doesn't exist in Liberia?
I don't want to say it don't exist there, but it shouldn't be forced upon the general population.
No. But that wasn't Mr. Dr. Jones' question, and that's not what I'm saying either. In fact, I'm saying that these conversations they can be discussed, but it should not be imposed upon people. That's what I say here. But the reason, so you do believe that lifestyle exists in Liberia?
Well, I don't want to say I don't believe that because the world has changed in terms of what we're seeing nowadays. But with the background we're coming from, it's not going to be like an easy route to say, you know what, if Liberia don't accept the lifestyle, then it means that they won't get the benefit. It shouldn't be forced upon.
No, and that's what I
there's somebody online here too here. But quickly here, before I go to the caller here, we don't want to these are very crucial things. People will not like it, but we have to talk about it. It's good to be prepared. So when the conversation comes, you never know who's going to be the leader and how they're going to be approached by some of these big powers.
But that was one of the reasons why I made this statement, Mr. So,
exactly.
that they shouldn't wrap it into American flag and dump themselves on Liberia. I think I made that statement very clearly, and that's an intellectual way of. I don't want to.
But quickly here before I come to the caller here. But we can have this.
He left already.
He left already. Okay, then let me come to this caller here. 612 number 3168. Good evening. What are you considering this evening?
Yeah, Mr. So actually, it's just the same thing because for now you guys are talking about it in regards to the the gay or just say the LGBTQ community coming into our community is not. I don't think it's the time for that because there will be a lot of resistance because our culture is not built for that. Right now, we don't even have the technology to sponsor these kind of people. If you look in America here, these people take a lot of medication. They do a lot of things to their body to transform them.
Hold on 1 second. Yeah, go ahead, Terry.
So it's a challenging topic for our culture. And I believe America is supposed to respect culture. Even when it comes to development, America has not been able to develop like that. So
Hold on 1
trying
second.
to
Caller, please. Can you please 832, if you're doing something, just mute your side in the meantime. All right, go ahead, Terry. Sorry.
yeah. So actually I wanted to really talk something about Lumley, but something about the politics. But anyway, I will just talk about it on a later time. But actually,
We'll definitely be talking over. This is just one of the topics
not
we're
part of our
discussing tonight.
culture. It will not be. It will not even go far. And I want to believe one of the problems that Mr. Cummings is having is because there was a propaganda going around concerning that interview he did that his people have not really adequately been able to deal with that issue. They are not ready, clear it out. And so there's a perception, even Pete Johnson said put it on him. There's a perception that he's trying, when he become president, he will enforce gay right in our society. And his people ignoring it is a serious propaganda for him. And I want to believe this is a serious thing that is going to drop his number if they do not address it. Because our society, our culture do not embrace such behavior. All right. It will take a longer period of time for our culture to really induce that. But for now, I doubt that it's going to go through.
Thank you so much. Okay, let me go to
Thank you.
to the next caller here. 832 number 1441. Good evening, caller.
Yeah, Mr. Mr. To, and let me see who the next person. Let me see who the
Dr. Mali.
Well, yeah, the topic you're discussing is a sensitive issue. When we talk about, you guys know very well, any political party, any political leader right now are trying to bring that type of topic up. Their candidacy will die. They will die straight up because it's a taboo. They get like Mr. Towards. They get gay people in a bill. I can remember a girl went down Waterside, and the people say she was giving blowjob to a Lebanese guy. Police out of the country escort that girl go to Radio DC. Not that people wanted to hurt her. Just it don't get female to female though, but because she was just doing a guy or gentleman, and people heard about that. Police have to escort her from Waterside to DC radio station until the program leave before she could go to her own house. So I don't think any political leader. Because we know we have that type of people in our society, but are we ready for that right now? To say yes, we know this person here. That's how they play, and look at the former president's son. How people criticize that dude.
Okay.
So I don't think that we're ready for that right now.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, the beauty of this network, sometimes we take on unbearable conversations, uncomfortable ones with people, but we valued people's views, their opinion. This is what Mr. Louis is saying. Instead of discussing how the country should move forward, you guys talking about LGBTQ. It is not important at this time. What that suggests to me, it is important, but we should talk about it later, or when it is gone off hand, that we should talk about it. And this is not what Liberal Public Radio doing. But this is what Eduardo is expressing. Luis, it is important. we start to discuss it now. The U.S. is on the move in Africa. He's informed to push exactly. There are countries that they are pushing this, and sometimes they hold back their resources if you can subscribe to what they are doing to push this agenda on African countries. It is even more important at this moment where we are almost around the election process. Dwalo, thank you so much. Now, there are a lot of conversation being around it, and we are not saying end it, but we have seen how other camps or other potential candidates been entangled. And I think Terry got it right. Something people tries to define other people who they are not, and because of their less skill in proper relation to debunk issue, they are dealing with it as of now. This is why it's important that we start this conversation. And these people that are vying for these high offices, including some of the lawmakers as well, we need to start this conversation. So I can tell you, I can remember at the university, Missing Gould, who used to be the LFA referee, who were doing ROTC 1, and something unusual happens. Trust me, that whole section was disrupted. It's not now. It's been there a long time. We know the Black Sugar nightclub, Kerry or whatever street where it used to be Eurobank area there. You have your own Liberian brothers and sisters inside Liberia, outside of Liberia, that are heavily engaged. We do not know the number. We do not have the statistic. But think about it. From then and now, what will you do? Will you denounce them? Will you say they are not Liberians? You know? So I think...
Not Kamo is on the line. You want to...
okay, go ahead.
Yeah, not...
I think we need to have what they call some sort of persuasive argument now with how and why we shouldn't or why we should, depending on people you're going to talk to. But now go ahead.
Yeah, before I drop the line, I had a call. Mr. Sue wanted to ask me a question before I go to my next point. So I was like, what you were talking about?
Well, yeah, the question I was asking, what I wanted to say was, is it a crime having this sort of conversation at this time? Because that helps us to prepare or adequately when it comes to push, we will have a potential answer and we'll be able to find a common ground. I just wanted to ask, discussing it at this time. Is it not important, or we can talk about it? Talking about it does not suggest that people, but these are things that are playing out in real time. We're seeing the way it's happening.
Yeah, Mr. So, it is very important that we have this kind of conversation. It is very important, especially as African, where we come from. You people are our fathers. You know how we are brought up, and the generation that is coming up now, they are being somehow brainwashed in terms of the technology they use nowadays. So some of the things when they see it, almost like acceptable to them, you know, and that's where it becomes difficult to convince them that you don't have to follow the lifestyle because it's not from your background, you know. So it's important that we start discussing it, and then just to add on to that, like somebody was saying, the kind of treatment these people go through in the United States is not in Africa, especially in Liberia. We coming from a country where the national legislature have been accused, quote unquote, accepting brown envelope. If these kind of laws pass on the people and then force on the people, the country, and the people in the country don't accept it, there will be a huge problem. You wake up in the morning, you just see somebody out on the ground, or the person was doing something and something happened to them, and we don't want that. So before we delve into these kind of things, we should know the candidates that are in a race, their position on it, and what would be the decision. Because in the world now, like the United States now, they on the agenda. They go in Africa. They convince the African country. They were in Uganda. They were in Ghana, and those countries, the parliament are very strong. When they take decision, they take it. You know, and in Liberia, we don't have that kind of people in the legislature that where they don't listen to the people on ground. I'm not saying they are not human beings, but you gotta respect other people. You gotta respect other people's view on how they look at their society. That's how people live together.
Exactly.
If they trade the people country and force your will on them, and we don't want any candidate in the race that will want to force that lifestyle on Liberian. You can if you don't want to make your position clear on it, well, just keep it to yourself. And lastly,
Well, they need to make their position. They need to make their position clear, and this is why it's important.
Yeah, they need to make their position
the
clear.
microphone
Make
at
it
this
very
time.
much clear.
What happens if any of them elected tomorrow, Mike Camus, and you have Uncle Son throwing billions of dollars there? Look, we won this year. It doesn't mean that they're going to do it, but they say, okay, you can do it, but it's up to people. What will you do? They're already there. So, in order to know where we are, they need to start answering all of these questions at this time.
Yeah, and before I drop your line, and to add to that, Mr. So this is what we say: make your position clear, because if you force anything on the people and the people start to resist it, the society will go into a chaotic a situation where people will just be discovered dead because of their lifestyle, and which we don't want it. So make your position clear now, so people can know exactly where you stand on this issue, because the world has changed greatly. You know, you can't hide anything right now, so it better be clear on the thing. And then lastly, I don't like to speak on Comey on that particular issue, because Mr. Comey has come out clearly. He said that, in fact, Mr. Comey is married. He got a beautiful family. So I don't even like to go too much into that. I want for him to clear on policy. Even black out all the people that you just make a policy statement on it.
Exactly.
This is not what we think about. Like the former Kenyan president told Obama the last time. He said, we got issue in Kenya that we're thinking about. We're talking about health. We're talking about education. We're talking about road. We are not thinking about those things. You guys in America, that's your area. You want to improve that. You can do that. But in Kenya here, as I'm speaking to you, that is not what the Kenyan people want right now. You know, that's how we want our people to define.
We need to have a bold-faced leaders who are going to be. Okay, thank you so much.
Be clear.
Thank you so much.
You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Thank you.
I hope that one of these days y'all can have this topic so people can we need to discuss the issue. Get hard, it can't be hitting. We need to talk about it. Therefore make the position clear.
Especially the lawmakers. Our people, they always vote on cameras.
Thank you.
Camera. We don't know who they are. We don't know what they represent.
Thank you for flagging the issue. Even though I gave my own request, but you don't want to unearth the Burkina Faso people. Then, Papi, I want for you to discuss the Burkina Faso people, the people based in Grand Gida there. I got some family people from Grand Gida there. I want for you to unearth the Burkina Faso people. We don't want to be all kind of phobia. We need to know about Grand Gida people, the Burkina Faso. What's the situation in our county? Thank you.
They plenty in total.
The man whole time, talk about this.
More than it says in total right now. But
and that's the danger of it.
Thank you, Nat.
The community itself.
Thank you, Papi. You're welcome.
The community embrace, they receive those people, they incorporate them, they are literally integrated, they're making farms, they're doing everything. The government, the local officials, everybody in it. We have talked until the East Africans wants to bust. So this speaks to the point, gentlemen, that the candidates are expiring at this time. More or less, we need to start looking at their policies, and we can be selective. Okay, we can talk this here, we can talk this at this time here. We are talking about a sovereign nation. We don't know. Yes, it is unacceptable. That's not something, of course, but you don't know. There are other groups who will come out and say, hey, this is who we are. You can't say no. You can't say you don't want to have that conversation. I think this is where those that are seeking the higher office of the land, who will know who they are, what they represent.
But I think a caller made a salient point here a few minutes ago, where and I think that's right on the mark. Any of these political candidates right now, if they pick up this subject matter, it will be done. Their political career in Liberia is over with. So they will not touch it. They're definitely not going to touch it. That's for sure.
Well, it is our job to put them on record so that tomorrow we will go back to our manuscript and say, hey, this is what you say X, Y, Z time. Okay. All right. So what was the next talking point?
Well, before I go to my next talking point, I just wanted to make one little clarification. From what I seen from my assessment from the callers, it seems to be we prefer to leave this thing as it is quietly into the society rather than supporting democracy, because democracy go with laws and policies and have it legitimized. We know, the panelists know from past government, we know what's been going on in the system. But here is the danger. I'm not looking at the culture. Okay? Here is the issue. Why if, any of us here we have our young kids. And for some reason, they got vandalized by a member of this population. A hair to court, someone get arrested, and someone is charged, and someone is supposed to be thrown in jail for doing this thing to this little boy. The America say, oh no, you agree to be part of democracy, and this person human right need to be protected. They have all right in a society to live like this. Now they have committed a crime.
Dr. Mario, that one there where you do it to my child total, when I'm going to Morel. Now on the far taking you. That one there forgot liberal business. That one there not liberal tonight. When that one there not liberal business.
Okay. So what I agree with the callers, and we know our tradition where we come from. But the world has changed now. Too many things are moving, and the African countries are volatile. They're forced to accept some things that they can't swallow, but because they want money, and they will have to swallow it. Like for instance, in the Philippines, the guy that was just there, the guy had capital punishment for drug traffickers.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, put on a firing squad because his argument to America was the drugs were contaminating his young population, and I agree with him. So America said, no, you're violating the people, right? You're just killing them indiscriminately. You see? So the next issue now is, let's table this LGBTQ thing, but the drugs now is infiltrating and carrying most of our kids crazy in Liberia. Very crazy. You see? And it's contaminating the whole system. So that's another issue. I think
they're not trying to talk about it too.
How are they going to address this issue? Yes.
Okay, hold on. Okay, maybe they're not trying to talk about it, but let's see. Yeah, we got a caller on the line. Yeah, caller, are you there?
Hey, Mr. So, good evening, and good evening to the panelists. This is AP calling from Oklahoma.
Let's hear from you. What are you considering? You don't have to go with our topic or whatever, but whatever we're talking, you not necessarily have to go with it if you choose not to. But what are you considering?
Oh yeah. The topic on the discussions is interesting, especially for our society or our continent, Africa, because we just saw the U.S. vice president tour 3 countries, namely Ghana, Tanzania, and Zambia, and everything she was talking about was this same LGBTQ business. The response that she got from Ghana, it was negative. You go to Tanzania, the same thing. You go to Zambia, the same thing. You know, in Liberia, the Mr. Toll, you know, that the labor said, if you do it in total, you're not going to the court. No. The labor said it. If anybody, that one of the things that really Mr. Toll that affecting commission. That interview that came in May, I think was in 2016, with Mamati Dagete. That answer that he gave, he affecting him today. He can come up to say, look, Liberia, you can say whatever. On a particular issue, do not let America. I can tell anybody that. Do not let America. On a particular issue. So, let me just, you know, like the liberal said, and the political, you did not touch it today, your political career is done. You know, it's done. So America is our traditional island, Mr. Toll. We respect them, you know, we have been friendly, but that is us. If we are independent country, nobody should force anything in our throat that we don't like to swallow, or we don't like to eat, or we don't want to eat. Let them leave it alone. That is society. Anything they want to do in their society, let them do it. What we want to do in our society, we can collaborate on other issues, security, you know, other issues we can collaborate on it. But on that particular thing, let them just leave it alone. Democracy does not come with everything that people will agree. Democracy is there. People get the freedom of speech. People can go to the ballot box. Nobody can point gun to their head and vote. They can come back for whoever they want. You know, so that's democracy. But on a particular issue, no, just leave it alone. You know, but This is it. Going to elections. Baga accused his candidate voting for the ANC now so that we can settle the ball. That's what we're waiting for. We from the governing party. That's what Mr. Toso, I'm happy. I'm happy with the ticket. I can see the Baga people are defending the ticket right now because it's not easy. They're defending the ticket, Mr. So I'm happy. I don't know what the labor, which one of the side will take from now to June end or July. I waited for my dad to thank you. I found the show, Mr. Two. If I want to call Mr. So, if I want to call back, I'll call back. Thank you.
No, but on a very serious note, Mr. So, I think
you want to respond to me.
No. I mean,
let me go to the other caller here quick. Thank you so much. Okay, 612 number 8050. Are you there?
Yeah. Thanks for having me. This is Elijah calling from Minnesota.
Elijah, good evening. Welcome.
Caller, just hold on 1 minute, please.
Yeah, Elijah, go ahead. After we'll go to the other person.
Are you hearing me?
Yeah, we're hearing you loud and clear. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, we're hearing you. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I just want to make an input on this case, something that the US trying to force on Africa. It's not Africa alone. They're trying to force it to the rest of the world. They are simply doing this because of population control. It is easier for somebody to leave their gay life and go back to having family and having children. So what they want to do is that they brought in that LGBTQ stuff so that children will be able to change their gender, and when they change their gender, they done for good. There will be no children, they won't have any children, and they won't be bearing anything. So that's the narrative they're pushing to the rest of the world so that they can control the population. That's their main aim. That's my input. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Wow. Okay. Amos George. Good evening. Welcome.
Good evening, Mr. So. Good evening, Mr. Two. Good evening, my good old brother.
How are you, sir?
Doctor.
You see him?
Male.
You see him?
But we'll call President. We are doctor. Or we can call Liberian with real doctor instead of giving them doctor. We'll say doctor, 4 doctors. Gonna put him really work for it. So we'll get them 4 of it.
Okay. All right. Let me go to this other number, and that way we can find other here because there are a lot of stuff going on here. Yeah. Good evening. 610 number 6025. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hey, Mr. So.
Mm-hmm.
How you doing? How you guys doing? Thanks for taking my call.
Yes.
This is Archimore Fredericks.
Hey, Archimore, man, you came from behind. You came from behind the curtain.
Mr. So before Frederick, there was another guy that was on my line after the caller left.
Hey, you see your friend Libra? Okay.
So can we talk, Frederick? Can we?
Hold on. Let's go to Libra. Libra,
okay. Go ahead. Caller, please. Minnesota caller. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. So. And I just wanted to say to the last and hello to the panelists, hello to Mr.
Thank you.
I can forget him, man.
Just calling doctor.
Yeah,
former
Dr. Marley Jones.
What do you mean former sedition? Just calling doctor.
They may shopping himself to UP, so we're calling former sedition for now. And hello to Pa George and hello, Mr. So. Okay, I want to say to the last caller, I think this is an issue that maybe you guys don't want to get into the weeds of, but that whole thing where he come up with conspiracy theories that the United States government will go do population control so they make everybody gay. I think somebody who is gay, they're forced to be gay, they're not by their own choice. So some people just let them dabble in conspiracy theories. But let me just go into my big point that I wanted to make. It's election season. I think on this platform, you guys got to give the government, some credit, because I think the process in that country is free and fair. We know during election time, you see a lot of intimidation. You see a lot of, fearing people if they vote against the government. But this time around, everybody have the agency, the free agency, to participate in whichever political party they feel, better suits their vision for the country. And to you, Mr. Toe, I want to say, our president has an honorary doctorate degree. You can choose to use it as a doctorate or not, and you choose to use it, so you're not doing anything wrong. An honorary doctorate is bestowed upon a person who has reached either a high office or have it or have helped to bring about some level of something important. Just on your football career alone, he's supposed to get honorary doctorate. So the man is a doctor.
Okay.
Let's just leave it there.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank you for
much.
taking
Let
my
me go
call.
to
One last thing before I leave the line. I
They
hope
sound too hard.
y'all
Go ahead.
I hope you heard what Prince Johnson said. I think it was today when he was talking to Voice of Africa on BBC. He's not complaining about the former telecommunication minister being fired because he said, you guys they're not associated with the CDC anymore, so thereby he should have resigned. And we're taking a lepe until the government fire him. So either way, even a political leader is in favor of the firing. So nobody should have anything to say about it. The government was in the right in this particular instance. I'll leave it there.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's hear from okay, are you there?
Mr. Somi, Achimo?
Yeah, Ajimo, back to you. Thank you so much for being patient. Something caught your attention. This is unusual to see you calling here. You always fire your tweets and all of that. Something might have triggered this your call here this evening. Let's hear from you. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, so first of all, I have 3 candidates and I put them in order. My first candidate is Mr. Cummings. My second candidate is Gonglo, and my third is Boycott. I would prefer, before Boycott pick, I would have preferred Cummings going with Boycott, but it's never going to happen, and I'm all for it. Number 2, Cummings, Gonglo. Which way, it doesn't matter. I'm in favor of any of them. Number 3 would be Boycott. So 1, Cummings, 2, Gonglo, and 3, Boycott. That's my pick.
Okay.
George Weah has to go. I mean, talking about incompetent, they are. I mean, if you just look back, Ronald Reagan used to ask the question, are you better off now than 4 years ago?
Right.
Ask that question to Liberians and hear the answer.
Okay, but don't go. Let's have a quick conversation here because I've been watching some of your fascinating tweets and come here, which are very informative. You just alluded your priority 1, Cummings, correct? Let me get it right.
Yeah.
Okay, so at this point in time, Cummings and the CPP had a consequential role. The nation, all of us, everybody, we glued to see what he's going to be saying, what his pick will look like. What do you think he needs to do if he's to bounce back and if he's to be the center of gravity into this political conversation? Just a Boycott, the Unity Party managed to have elevated this conversation, and we are having it now. So it gives them enough room of time to kind of recalibrate and take up something. Normally Kanga Lawrence is on the other side, still a factor. She's not a head of a party. But what should Cummings and the CPP be doing right now? What should be their focus?
I believe, and I strongly believe, that Cummings should go after Yombly.
Why?
Because that collaboration, regardless of the fragmentation within the LP, that collaboration is there. And to me, Boycott made a mistake. Look, you in the U.S., I'm in the U.S., and we look up political campaigns and we look at a presidential candidate going after their running mates. Guess what they do? If a guy's from New York, he's the standard bearer or Democrat, and he's looking for a running mate, Mr. So he doesn't look down to Delaware, the state of Delaware, on the East Coast or the Northeast for his running mate. He looks across the country, the Middle America, the West, the Southwest. Those are the ways you look for your running mate. Boycott from Lopa County. Yeah, the population is huge. Nima County population is huge. But guess what? when you pick your running mate, you pick it from down the street from Lofa County, Nima County. That means you have a whole section of the country available. If you was going to pick a Yombly, a female, now you have multiple chances of actually winning the population. And that Nima County, we know the people from Nima will actually go out there for you. Lofa County. Then you have the women vote. Then you have that majority of not majority, but group of people in Montserrat County down the line with Grand Bassa that will vote for you, especially women. But he missed that opportunity. But I won't say he made a mistake. That's my analysis. So, Mr. Cummings has to go with Yombly because he's going to have that opportunity to also bringing in the women's vote.
Yeah, I did hear you saying calling Tiawant Gonglot. So there must be, I like to look at the coins of both sides in this kind of thing here. What is the advantage and disadvantage? What is the political implication or reward if Gonglo or Nyombli, besides the demographic and all of that? What other factors could possibly he could consider?
You see, when it comes to Gonglo has a clean slate with maybe one or two blemishes, which I won't even consider that blemishes. But he worked in the government. He left the government on conditions that he considered weren't conducive for him. Some people say, no, he was fired. But if he left Ellen's government on that condition that, hey, I left the government because I didn't like what was going on, in conjunction with, and you use that to add him to Cummings, then you're talking about two people with records that you can say have problems. You cannot say that because they haven't been, you can't look in the background and say, Mr. Cummings, as a corporate person, he did something bad and he was in a reprimand or he was fired. You can say that. It's the same with Gonglo. So those people when it comes to being, I won't say honest, but having a clean slate of record, those two guys will complement each other. The only problem is there are two men. You want to attract women, and I think bringing a woman in will also help.
Okay. Well,
can I talk about the marriage or the gay issue?
Sure.
Look, I've been married for 25 years, going on 26, 3 children. My wife and I, we have our relationship. What we do at home is completely absent from what other people do in their homes. You have 2 consenting adults, 2 women or 2 men. What if one day 2 men in Liberia or 2 women in Liberia say, we go into the Temple of Justice to get married and we need our marriage certificate? What's going to happen? Have we ever thought about that? Liberia is a democracy. The courts, the courts are there to what? Provide justice. It should be blind. And we talk about human rights. We talk about civil rights. What if the court denied them marriage certificate? When they go to the Supreme Court, what is the Supreme Court going to do, Mr. So? When the Supreme Court turn them down because of religious reasons, or the Supreme Court going to look at them for the civil rights and the constitutional right act, they have the choice to do what they want to do. And Liberians are not thinking that way. And the upsetting part is we frown on 2 consenting adults getting into a relationship. You know what we're doing frown on? A married man or a grown man molesting, sexually harassing a teenage girl.
Okay. Hold on one
it's
second.
Okay in our society.
All right. Actually, hold on. Let me bring in the caller from UK here. Let's see here. Let's go.
Actually, hold on there because I think you are myself related.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. I'm calling from the UK.
Yes.
The time here is just nearly 4 a.m.
Oh, thank you so much.
I just want to throw a little bit of light on the vast Joseph Honorable Joseph Yuma Waka pick.
Okay.
And everybody talking about PYJ. I think it's very, very political. PYJ have worked with all the past 3 leaders, starting from Ellie. Now he's moving over to Joseph Waka. I don't think PYJ should influence anything in the vice president pick. And Joseph Waka pick was, I think it's strategic. It's very, very wise. It's a good pick. And people talking about disappointment, the Joseph Waka has the right who he's going to pick and who he's going to feel comfortable with working with. So I don't think there's anything disappointing. And to throw a little bit light on Alexander Kwame going for Yombly, I think he's going to make a little bit of mistake. And my question is, will Yombly be willing to work with Alexander Kwame with the issue going on between Yombly and Musa Belete? And secondly, Yombly could be in court, because if Yombly go and do anything with LP and the court have given all the mandate to Musa Belete to exercise the function of the LP, that could also give Alexander Kwame a very big problem. So I just want to say, Joseph Barker, I think he make a very, very wise decision to pick Jeremiah Kuhn, and I think he's going to deliver Nima Kante, and the rest of the county, Bon Kante, Lopa Kante, will fall to Joseph Barker. Trust me. Thank you so much.
So no matter what it is, at the end of the day, since we trust you, we are recording it. Make sure you call us yet and tell us the result, okay?
I'll definitely do that.
Okay,
thank
you so much for joining us this early morning hour. Okay, actually, yeah, is there anything? Sorry, because he was calling from a long distance, so I just wanted to give him the opportunity.
Yeah. So Yombly had. There's no way that Yombly case, if there's a collaboration with Yombly and Commies going together. First of all, before Barker made his pick, Dylan on OKFM said that they were talking, and no matter what happened, they will work things out. And since Barker picked Kuhn, it should be obvious to everybody now that they're all going to work out the problem, and all is left with Cummings to either go to Congress and say, look, let's do this. And I strongly believe she would take it. And, you hear people talk about, Barker going to make up president of the Senate. You have an opportunity to be a vice president of a country. You will turn that down to be president of the Senate, knowing that, hey, maybe this man won't win, even though, Cummings, the same situation exists with Cummings. But, just look at the options. Look, who's going to turn down being a running mate than saying you would be a president of a Senate? No, I don't think she will fall for that.
Okay, thank you so much.
Well, thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, we're glad to have you.
I said that, Mr. So let me ask that young man, Mr. Aki.
Oh, I think he's gone. But you can
ask your question, he's listening. Ask your question, he's listening.
Forget it.
What a news you get from ANC headquarters?
A secret.
Regards to what? Now you're laughing again?
But a secret.
Problem.
The man will be appointed as police director.
No. We county.
Wait, I said Morea.
Look, I beg you. I don't want to start. Please, we have to respect our audience, please. Okay. Caller, good evening.
Hey, Mr. So I call back, and this is Abraham.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Put me on hold.
Yeah, go ahead. Another caller.
Oh, okay. I just have a point to make with the caller that just called from the UK concerning Yombly going on either if Waka has chosen Yombly. Yombly is not taking party to Waka. Yombly, I don't think the court in Liberia would prevent Yombly going somewhere as an individual, not the political party. No court could start, even the Supreme Court could not start Yombly, though they are in court. But if Waka is going to choose Yombly as a Yombly, as long as the element of the Liberty Party is not merged with the Unity Party, I don't think the court is going to start Yombly. Yes. In my view. So, what I'm going to about, Comey is in a tight position right now. Comey is in a tight position looking for vice president running it. And
are you speaking
and the caller said that Waka make a strategic pick, right?
Ambrose.
I'm surprised he didn't go upstairs tonight.
No, are you speaking from a sedition perspective? What do you mean by his
Is he
desperate?
What?
I'm hearing you.
So maybe he's listening. Yeah, okay.
And we are. Can you please mute your phone, please? Yeah, go ahead, Ambrose.
Oh, Mr. Soy, talking to me?
Yes. Why you say he's tight? He's looking for VP. Is it that why? Is desperation? He can't get one. Is that what you're saying?
Because the window is too narrow. I don't know if the whole Congress is waiting. Is waiting to go as running into somebody. I don't know. Maybe he see a political future, so he want to be that lone man standing in 2029. So maybe he may not be waiting. So who else can be this flavor? You just said it. Who can choose to be flavor to him? To me, in my opinion, right now in the political field right now, as Mr. Soy looking on the field right now, is Yombly. It's Yombly. If he can pick the wrong Congo, now that you get to see in Nima Council what the Unity Party was yearning for, it will be difficult for them. You see it? So that is the problem. I don't know what they are seeing behind the scene, but who else can go? Comments bring to it, to him to bring this flavor. I think that only Yombly. Again, Mr. So before I leave the line, all the political parties in second round will be looking at 2029. If Comey does not make a second round, we'll be looking at 2029. If the whole Congress does not make a second round, we'll be looking at 2029. If the whole Congress want to bring somebody in new that will have the constitutional right to contest against 2029 so that they will be facing equivalent 2029, in my mind, if I want to be president like that, I said no.
All right, let's leave it there. Let's go to the next person. Thank you so much. Okay, let's go to the call. After this person, I've got to go back to my guys here. Aaron, good evening. Welcome. Aaron.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. So. How you doing, Mr. George, Mr. Mali, and Mr. To?
Barrow to you, please.
I don't have nothing much really to say. Just want to, talk about the opposition a little bit. I listened to all the opposition callers calling, analyzing the entire election, which way the election would go, who got what candidate, and it's as I listen to them, I really enjoyed it. If only what they were what they're predicting or what they are saying, that's what we're happy. Trust me, it will be really, really nice. And one last thing I would say, so the people who think, because former Vice President Barker picked Jeremiah Cohn, so that's a winning ticket. You get Nima Kante. Did Nima Kante voted for him the first time 6 years ago? I don't know that. I stand to be corrected. I don't know why these people think, after this man served 12 years, they didn't vote him into office. Now, after 6 years now, they will vote him into office. So, I just wanted to comment on that. And lastly, to this, gay and all these things we're talking about. I'm a Christian. I'm not going to say nothing about that because I don't want to touch people's feelings and things like that. But I think like what the panelists said, it's a conversation to be heard. You know, people need to talk about it because even when I was growing up back home, they have people, you know, gay people in Liberia, people who practice that. They are in hiding. That's the reason why. But you know, I mean, once they give them the platform to come outside, they will come outside. But there was a lot of them that I knew when I was in Liberia. So I just wanted to mention that.
Thank
so,
you so
thank
much.
you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's have a conversation. Thank you. Let me get this line. Oh, Amos George, welcome. Let's get to the boiling point, and it's all about the politics. Now, Nyambly is still a factor here, whether we like it or not, somehow, some way, in terms of some of our own political allies. Boyka, Ambassador Boyka cut the deal already here. Kiakumi, two things here. My guess here, perhaps those conversations are taking place. There can be some sort of deal cut here. Do you think Cummings will go that route? You are an ANC guy. We're going to wait. We're going to put the cap on the hair here. Mally Jones.
Yeah.
Will it be a good strategy on the part of the CPP? Or he, Musa Belete, and Nyambly Kanga Lawrence, Senator Kanga Lawrence, to do their little fixings and say, you know what, we got to move ahead. There's one thing, all of the oppositions there, one thing they have in common, and that is to unseat this president. That's one of the things they agree on. Other think it's a divided house. But do you think the ANC and Musa Belete now being the head of the CPP, all we are talking about now is to get the figures, those numbers needs to come through in order to put you to the finishing line. With Musa Belete now, as a party chairman, will he be the first person to extend that olive branch and say, hey, you know what? Let's forget what happened yesterday. In any race, in anything, somebody got to get it. Can you come on our side? This is what we can do. Is that something you think that the CPP comments they should push for with Nyambly? Because then you literally getting like people like Darius Delons and all of the other people who felt somehow they were, they were hurt politically.
Well,
Mr. So, are you still taking number or not?
Just put a person on hold. Let Malice carry his point.
Caller, just hold on 1 minute, please.
Yeah, I don't want for us to forget about something here. We are making some mistake about something here, and even the colors. We should remember that there has been this bad blood with Cummings and Nyambly and Nyambly party. When they went to court, that brought, in fact, that was the beginning when the CPP started to disintegrate because of that court issue. And Nyambly was a front runner in that whole thing. And Bwaka decided to back off. So I don't know, with that bad blood in there, I don't know whether they'll be able to settle that, frankly speaking. Yes. But let's come to the more critical aspect. I think Kumi choosing a vice president will have to come from three simple lenses. One, the person should have a constituent. Two, that person should be marketable. Three, the person should be non-controversial in the system. Yes.
Wow, your criteria, that's more criteria, Mason.
Yes.
Everybody controversial in now. So
you see. But here is the thing. If there were no bad blood between Nyambly, Lawrence, and Kumi, because the court issue that brought a whole lot of noise down there, and Berete decided to remain in the corner of Kumi up to today. For what reason? Nobody knows. And Kanga and Berete, they are on the battlefield right now. They can't see eye to eye. So if Nyambly is crossing over to be a vice president to Kumi, that would make Berete lukewarm. Yes. And Berete might even want to fight that. So the question now is, Will they continue to be fighting while CDC is carrying on slow campaign here and there, and you're still fighting at the 11th hour? You're still fighting. That's my question.
So, in essence, quickly, Amos George need to come in here as well. That his party something is itching inside.
I think
Are you
I
saying?
think that Amos just come in and rescue this thing here.
Are you saying politically, Bellete wouldn't want to raise his own alligator that's going to swallow him? Because if he pushes the line for Nyombli and Nyombli to become vice president, and then that's something. Is that what you're saying, or what?
This is exactly what I'm saying. If I want to read the tea leaf, I'm very sure Bellete is telling Kumi, we can't work with that woman because they don't see eye to eye. And if Kumi go ahead and bring in Lawrence Kanga, I'm very sure Bellete is going to back off. And when Bellete back off, the party wing of Bellete is going to back off, and that's going to create a quicksand for Kumi. So Kumi is in a tight spot right now. And so he bring in a stranger.
Yeah, but your criteria said here you want to do a process of elimination. Your criteria you put forward here. But let's go. Amos George is smiling. Probably we're going to get something out of him here this evening.
I know.
George.
Yeah.
You heard
he's sitting on top of a huge mountain of information.
Yeah.
As though he's sitting on something of information that go ahead.
You see, he ready with you now. That's his doing.
What Mali
No,
politics is not static. It's dynamic. We saw right here when Kamala Harris, now vice president, went after Joe Biden, accusing of imprisoning black men and killing them. And what Joe Biden did, he went and picked Kamala Harris, and now today they are all in line. But let me say something. Musa, on many occasions, have said that he wants to unify the party. He has never said any ill words against Yomli Kanga. He has not attacked her personally. He has always said that he's willing to resolve the issue with a unity party, because a unity party could be or can be a force if it is united. And Yomli Kanga, I think anybody for that matter, except maybe your ego is a little bit different, but if somebody asks you to be the running mate of a country, very few people turn that down. Very few people turn that down. Especially with Liberia, where they have one thing that everybody trying to move George Weah. So for me, I don't see it that way. Most ability would definitely want to unite the Liberal Party, because if they are united, they can demand something. When they are divided, there's no force. So even the Dallas Dillon, Dallas not being hurt. He's being hurt. Whether you like it or not, but that's a matter of fact. They're being hurt. Because when Dallas Dillon was buying down to Joseph Walker, he told he was doing the traditional thing. No, old man said, I'm going to give you car away. Yeah. So, old man said, I'm going to give you car away. I'm going to give you Bevon. Something don't know what we call Bevon. You know Bevon, the coconut plantation football, gave Bevon. And the Basel man thing. So, Joseph Boy, the Gizzard man gave Basel man Bevon. But on a very serious note, I think, if anything, most of them and Yomi Khan, they can sit down and organize the party, because that's the only way they'll become relevant now. If they remain split, there'll be no force. Honestly.
So we got a caller on the line.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry, I forgot. All right, let Pa George end his point quick, then we can go there.
And I just want to say my last topic on the government issue is, maybe I don't know, you're discussing the LEC.
Okay, let Mr. Toll finish with the person on the line, then we can. We're already running out of time.
Go ahead.
Quickly. That's the last person for the day. We'll soon be going on.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know why people always say that you only, shouldn't get political party, as if to say people will vote for her because you're part of any political party. She's a Bassa woman. from Grand Bassa, a true politician. When it comes to politics, is Musa Bilete more relevant than Yombi Kanga Lawrence, who has won 2 successive elections? So this is not even a question. She has the numbers behind her. And secondly, number 2, I think what Pat George was saying, I kind of want to buttress on that. The second part is Yombi will have some bargaining chips to ask for when she come back to reconcile. She wants her political leadership back in the Liberty Party, and she wants to be restored fully. So, Musa Bilete right now is like, Mr. Comey's assistant. So anything Comey's wants, he will give it to him. So her coming back into the party will definitely help Comey's. Look, we got the top 3 major tribes contesting in the country right now. We got the Pele people, who is a current sitting vice president. You have the people from Nimba, who is, who got a VP in the race. What about the Bassa people? Why we can consider the Bassa, why Comey's can consider the Bassa people? So I think in the first round, it will be really, really tight. And Comey's, can really pull out the stops. If you use some of that money that he has and take somebody that Yombly, he could come in a close second to George Weah, even, try to get into that second round. So for me, when people say Yombly shouldn't go because of this, because of that, it's not even true. She has more political capital than even Jeremiah Cole. Let's admit that. So nobody should try to cast a girl. And then for George, I just want to correct you. Our ability, they use the H word. In our common language, when we say the H word, we know what it means. We use that word to describe Kanga Lawrence. So it starts with H and end with Joe. So I think you know what I mean. He used that word to curse her. So he did say bad things about her. I'll leave it there.
Okay. All right, guys.
Mr. So let me touch on this issue of Musa Bilete, my sister, and that of Comey just a little bit. I believe, and I don't know that for fact, speculation. Let me just say that out front. I believe if Madam Lawrence were asked to be part of Comey team, as much as being second to Comey, she's not even going to say, as long Musa Bilete is on board with no confusion, she will accept it. And I believe she's going to accept it, not necessarily for this upcoming election. I think she will accept it for the 2029, because I think that will give her the opportunity to be exposed to the entire country for the next upcoming election. This going election, as long as she's not selected by Baka, her being vice president is pretty much out of the window. So if Comey were to ask, I believe strongly that she will accept it, just so that she'll be able to express herself and be able to be exposed to the rest of the country, and to showcase her true leadership as a leader of a community, as a leader of the Bassa people, to say, this is what I do in Bassa, and this is what I can do for you people for the next election. That's my opinion.
I think that's a very great observation.
That's coming from Samson to the liberal. It's always great. Anything that comes from me is great.
When you move, they don't move. But let me tell Prince. Prince, when we talk about party unity,
who Prince are?
The guy, the last one that just left. Now, Prince, I know him. I know his voice. I just want to say this.
Yeah, yo, man, that's right, man.
To be attacking people that you want to talk to is not right. Whether Musa Bilete got one vote is important. If you say, or you speculate that Comey should carry Yomli Kanga, then I don't see the need for you to start attacking Musa Bilete whether he got 1 vote or 2 votes. He is the chairman. We should be, or you should be talking about, let him earn up the differences. That's what I want to tell him. Maybe he can call back if you want to.
Yeah. But look, politics is give and take. There's a bitterness in politics. There's a good side, there's a bad side. But I think this is a season that he Cummings can also use to capitalize, to erase the notion that this guy is being so much in desperation. And you also want to be conciliatory.
Yeah.
Let people see you that you are a forgiving person.
Yeah.
We know the bad trend with this whole CPP, how it went. At the end of the day, the court said, and he was vindicated. That proves itself. So he and his team, or CPP, reaching out to Nyombli Kanga will give a different picture by the electors, by other Liberians. Other people are going to have a second thought. They managed to define him. And unfortunately, his people, they also being distracted. They were unable to reconstruct him, to bring him back to life. He's in desperation. He's desperate. He's this, he's that. But there are people that don't go on outlet. So most of the time, he himself does the argument. And you remember here when we had him here, when you talk to him, when you kind of engage him, you see the kind of different side of him. He's very, very much a person. He don't just, he kind of like, he's careful in throwing something out. Even when you try to kind of like really push him, he's very careful. So I think definitely it would be a good thing, unless there are some other guys who on the side. If you really go inside the minds of the CPP ANC here, I think they are caught between the scissors, either the Tiawan Gonglo or Nyombli Kanga Lawrence. But you want to say maybe ever says something. And of course, everybody wants to get a piece of the pie. When last they banned the Bazolians, they went around. The Saints, your guy, what his name, or the late Bronskin, they don't get it. We saw Musa Belete and Charlene, all of them sitting on the table. If he, Cummings, managed to seal this out with Belete and bring him to the convincing point and cut some political deals, that's what happened. You know how long it took for what he said, this crazy guy now, the speaker, McCarthy, to get that? So getting other people are nominating Donald Trump. People setting the forcing. Hey, you got to do this. So it is time now for Cummings, for his folks to allow him to loosen his hand, to be the one that will lay that red carpet down to say, you know what, this is what. Because in the other aspect of it, he wants to make himself arguable with Ambassador Boycott, regardless of them being in the opposition. But the main thing here is they are all contesting. He wants to be president. Ambassador Boycott wants to be president. I'm not talking about President we are now. He's there. But he has to elevate his style, his leadership, his strength, his skill, negotiation, all of that, so that when they go in the race, he will be seen by electorate to say, oh, this is not a guy we thought he was. He seems to be a different person. If he can sit down with people that Nyombli, if he can go back and they have this to see this, or then of course we went wrong. So he needs to make that sacrifice. That's something. And I'm quite sure that's something they're going to be doing. Mally Jones, would that make a sense when they did that, or when they get her and come, maybe by the time we go low, they call something to come making shit. That one part, my goodness. Oh, folks, I'm sorry.
When they call something to, I will not go back there again.
I think I think this
sounds not even want you there.
Yeah. I think it makes.
But he gets something from going there. I'm at home.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. But here is my take. Someone just compared Joe Biden to that of Kamala Harris for their mishap on stage there, and later on they brought her in. It's not like that with the African politics.
So no.
The African politics.
If they say wake up.
No.
Let him make his side. Then you will win.
The African politics, sometimes it go to a grudge level. People hold grudges against one another. They have been calling Dallon, have been calling Berete, all sorts of negative names in that time there. Rebel, can't to break our power, all kinds of things. All right. Yeah. To see, you see, it's like the opposition has got the enthusiasm to move to move President Weah from power. But their common strategy is not adding up. It's not adding up at all. If it were adding up, we're going to see them to Joseph Boakai's nomination. We're going to see them there. We did not see them there. So that's a full thing now. That's a full thing now somewhere already. Yeah, that's a full sitting now already against that whole Joseph Boakai camp. Should he go there and reconcile? That's another story. But to be frank with you, Liberia was built on a Christian principle. And I strongly believe that we should maintain the status quo or always electing a Christian president. So bringing Berete into the limelight, and he's succeeding to be a vice president from this Muslim background, I found a whole lot of complication in there right now.
Oh my goodness. We better bring the show to an end because he's
no. I found a complication in there because Libra was based on a Christian principle, and we are mindful of that. That why even put the gay issue.
No, what I was saying though, for he ability to have a inside, because the whole beef is between with Dent, and the bottom line is he is the chairperson. What his party won now is to win the presidency. So it is he the ability, they and the Cummings, the bulk of the work is on them to reach out to Nyombli. Nyombli and her ally, they are being wounded. They are like a renegade soldier now. Soldier went on the battlefront and their commander died. No one's able to give command. That's the situation. There was no way that he, Nyombli, and those folks that who have gone back, they could have gone there. So it is Cummings now who looking for this job. Nyombli is not looking. Nyombli issued a statement that she was out because, whatever went on. But she can resurrect. And that resurrection can only come into play when the guy who was looking for the job extend that olive branch.
Well, I don't see it to be possible because up to today, as we speak, Nyombli had not acknowledged the Supreme Court decision. No, in her press statement, she had not even known that.
Mali.
And I want to know anything.
Mali, let me tell you.
Who don't want to be vice president? Who you are talking now? When Kume call me, I will go.
In summary, I don't see it possible.
Okay.
In summary, I don't see it possible. Maybe we'll have a strange name coming up.
Okay, quickly before Joyce saying, should Cummings have cut the deal with Nyombli? Besides being the vice president, should Cummings cut the deal for support with Nyombli?
Of course, Nyombli is a political.
I'm asking why he not saying anything possible. We saw what happened here, and I agree the lack of political tolerance with our politicians. That is no little thing it gets under their skin and they go with it and they die with it. They are not forgiving.
Yeah, but moderator, don't forget now. Cummings, he's a policy-oriented guy. And the Supreme Court had taken a decision to favor the party chairman to move on. So, in theory, the party chairman is carrying the party. All right? So, he break away to make a deal with Nyombli. But Nyombli is.
We are not taking the leadership. We are not taking the leadership from Benedict. That's what we are saying.
Moderator, Nyombli is just a wing of the party right now. She's operating another wing of the party. Benedict is operating another wing of the party.
So that wing that wing, do they have a vote?
Pardon me?
Do they have vote? The wing that she Nyombli operates, do they have a vote?
Well, that depends on the strain. Because already the people are still in controversy. That's the first thing.
No, Mali, let me.
I don't think that this is going to work because if Cummings bring Nyombli closer, they're going to go away. Well, Cummings bring closer.
What we are saying, Mali,
I don't see it working.
John, what we are saying, the chief architect of this negotiation, the person who's going to lay this foundation, is Musa Belete. Musa Belete is contesting, and Musa Belete is the chair. So there will be a absolute power. If, for whatever reason, it comes to win this election, a certain party chairman, it's just that in Liberia, the way they do their thing, party chairman, they think that's some kind of thing. Party chairman literally drives the agenda of the ruling summit. It's a powerful position.
But how about the political leader who had not even accepted this man? Political leader.
Mali, let me say something here.
No, but the political leader, no. The political leader had not even accepted the Supreme Court. Nyombli.
No. Listen, Mali, you're missing the point here.
Okay, what's the point?
The Supreme Court is the final arbiter. Any ruling they give, whether you accept it or not, is dumb.
So why she had not acknowledged it?
It doesn't matter. Who cares?
Even she don't acknowledge it, she cannot do nothing about it.
That means there's still a bad blood.
That is the issue we are talking. That bad blood can be reconciled. But what the Supreme Court did, that's the end of that case. You accept, you can cry, that's it. You have to go, maybe you're going to do your reconciliation. You don't do it, you have to break away. That's it. No other way you can do it. The Supreme Court is the final arbiter. What they said there, the ruling, that was it. And what I'm trying to tell you, I heard from Musa Belete on several radio stations that even before the Supreme Court ruling came, He said that why he stopped seeing anything on the other side, not anybody. He said at any time he'll be willing to sit there and talk with Yomli Kanga. So it is our right to speculate how we think it will go. But when they get together, this is political power. You talk about Mali, someone to be nominated as a vice president. That's a power. That's a power you're talking about. So to be number 2 in a country, if you win, that's not something small.
Look,
very few people will turn that kind of opportunity down.
Yes, another thing. Yes, another thing I want to say on this here before I take leave of you guys tonight, because I think I'm way past my bedtime. But yes, another thing here. First thing, Musa Ability, Kumi is not going to go talk to Nyomli without the agreement or the consent with Musa Ability.
But that's what I'm saying. Musa is the chief architect of that's what we are saying.
So as long you see Musa making that move, that means Musa Ability is already on board.
Musa will be the first person to seal this deal and go back to say, hey, like a prodigal son returning home. You know what?
So for that also to happen, for Musa to give
Musa
will also have to give something out to Nyomli to entice her. And some of the things that I'm not too sure if Musa will even be ready to trade in some of his powers. So that's going to be very interesting.
At this point in time,
let us wait and see.
At this point in time, all they need to do, once Musa and Alexander Cummings come to a consensus, there are 2 things. Somehow, some way, they would need a support of Nyomli Kanga Lawrence. And Nyomli Kanga Lawrence, in return, would need some political favor. Every politician does that. And that's how it is. Nothing. If she can go as a VP, okay, Madam Senator, I need your support. I need to win Basso. And if I win Grand Basso County, if I become the president, who don't want to be in the fries? Who don't want to be president? Who don't want to be vice president? Who don't want to be a Senate pro tem with this sort of fabulous budget and all of that? You don't think she wants to build her political career? She would not want to say no, because like you rightfully said, liberal, she will also want to elevate her political judgment, good tolerance, her forgiveness, so that people will see the other version of her. Equalability too now, who they say is being divisive, he this, that, it is time to prove himself as well, to see whether he's a reconciler, whether he can reconcile with people who hurt him and people who he hurt. At this point in time, Nyomli and the Darius Delon and all of those folks, they just all they need to do is to wait. He's the one that needs the job. Not really in desperation now. He needs the job, and he got to reach out to them. Well, guys, time has caught up with us. The liberal say he going to bed. I don't know when he started going to bed. 7 o'clock his time, but that's to show that he had a very bad night as usual. Very bad, horrible.
Maggie swinging at Mali the evening. You say he had a bad night.
I'm glad you were watching.
So we wouldn't to see, but I know Tiawan Gonglo, Nyomli Kanga Lawrence, Lanund, those 3 names. I mean, you got to. Politics comes with name, brand name. I don't care whether you do or not. You don't want to call people and they start wondering like a wandering stranger. Who is this person? Where this person coming from? This and that. They want to hear some names that are being played in the cycle. That's the name. And you can't ignore it, regardless about she not being ahead now. You can't ignore her. No. She get a base. Why you think she was doing the concept in Grand Basso? There was some hope that perhaps maybe the ambassador will want to pick her. But the ambassador, he's a politician. There were some other things that were going on, so he didn't want to do it. So it's the boy is incoming now to resurrect himself and the CPP in order to be competitive with his main opponent within the opposition side, Ambassador Boyka. He has to compete with Ambassador Boyka in order to be viable in the with the presidential, with the grand finale. Guys, we're going to leave here this evening. The best of analysts, commentators, pundits, but sometimes they have so much bias, like the liberal.
All the time.
Maybe if all the time. That his sister, he will go support his sister.
Definitely.
Oh, you live what like
This man,
I have the ability to split. I have the mindset that I can compartmentalize things. On one hand, I can promote Bakai because of what I believe. On the other hand, I can also promote Nyamdi because of what I believe in her. So that's a simple thing. That's a simple thing. You just throw up politics, not statics. That then you want me to stay one place? Or that when it comes to me, they are when it comes to me, they might want static. Oh, okay, sit on that.
Yeah. Oh, guy, you're good there. You know what? I give
why you're
up.
not paying? Why you're not paying the LEC business? All the money you got.
Who LEP? LEC where?
Okay, Mr. George, Achimo says you should check your messenger. They're about to appoint you.
Look, tell Achimo if I don't remember.
When you go, when you go wrong campaign, from there people will demonstrate. You don't say
all right, good night, folks.
All right, the Liberal, good night. Pa George,
Mr. So, that Island
good night.
You say what? What you say?
Mr. So, you know the island behind Tottenham? You know the island behind Tottenham?
What happened to it?
That factory grandpa place at that island where you used to see the behind the swan there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So that his grandpa land?
That way he grew up. That island, that factory place there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You're
right
right
behind when you go where the building, you know something, the annex, back
the
to
annex.
that island, you should see that factory there.
Annex said, I will call me Carla, my goodness. Oh, boy. Don't
the show told me how last night that building is not painted.
Man, I don't know. Well, yeah. Anyway, Pa George, thank you so much. Tomorrow is what? Tomorrow is Friday? What is it? Today is Thursday. Oh, we're off tomorrow. So, folks, just to let our guy. Oh no, the Liberal will be on tomorrow Thursday. The Liberal. Today is Wednesday.
What are you talking about, man, Mr. So?
Today is Wednesday.
Yeah, I said today. I said tomorrow is Thursday.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I said the Liberal comes on tomorrow. So, folks, join the Liberal Progressive tomorrow for his show, and then Friday we will be here. Is that a 13 the next gathering for Mr. Cummings, Pa George? I believe they said it's 13, right? That's on a Saturday.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see. We'll wait and see.
Yeah.
When Flumo say when it's something, we'll get to know. All right. Thank you so much.
Okay, sir.
All right. Okay, folks, we want to thank you so much. We want to bring today's program to a conversation. Jiman, Daniel, and all of you great folks, Frederick, Daniel DeWitt, and your comments, your tweets were very, very much rewarding. If this is your first time on LPR, we say thank you so much for popping in here. And just go to Facebook, type in Liberal Public Radio, and just follow the page. And please, shares. We always also send us your comments, your suggestions as to how we can enhance our talking point. Some of the things when we are falling and some of our mistakes, let us know, and we can adjust ourselves, accordingly. So, by your participation, trust me, on this network, it's just amazing. It's millions of dollars. You are engaging. You're not leaving it with us. You're not leaving it with them. You are discussing the issue, the interactions with peers, and exchanging ideas, people from different political sides. That's good. That's what democracy is all about. You intellectually, you engage, argued, strongly believe in your candidate, and argue the points of your candidate. That's what we want to do. We want to see the policy aspects of all of these candidates, those who want to be president. We want to see that. What happens to the 73 members who also wants to occupy the first branch of government? Why can't we see them? Why can't we talk about them? It's not just only the executive branch. The first branch of government provides the check and balances on the executive. But we have been taken away. Who are they? What they represent? And this is why it's important that these candidates make their pick. We need to know who is standing with them in Nima County, in Lofa County, in Grand Bassa, in Bon County. And perhaps maybe to talk to them. Are they using this wing now so when they get there tomorrow that they can change? Of course, it is they have the right to switch. But we need to get some commitment from them, who they are and what they are taking in capital building. Capital building, that's a house of wisdom. But the drama and the chaos is so much. They are not working together. There's no any bipartisan kind of like a conversation there. That's what we want to see then happening. It shouldn't be about just their party, but it must be about the country. However, we know the party ideology has to be pushed, but for God's sake, the senator of Moserado County, from both parties, other parties, they must sit and dialogue for the good of the country. 160 days to go. There seems still to be a challenge. Because when you see the president traveling, if you see anywhere where there is a tense election, 160 days, it's nothing. Now the president will leave and travel, somebody could proxy the affairs of the president. The president at this time is supposed to be doing the touching to make sure that they are re-elected. The president traveling, moving here and there, that is an indicator to me that, like, you know what, the opposition is not up for the task, and so they are relaxed. That's why I could be wrong, but that's how it looks like. So there is a need people to step out to the game. So we are waiting to see the announcement from Alexander Benedict Cummings and the CPP. Tiawan Gonglo, Nyombli Kanga Lawrence, Dr. Moniba, all of those folks we cannot honor. I estimate it. Guys, I want to thank you so much for your time. I don't hesitate. Hey, my man Prosper, I put a number out. I thought you were going to call, but you didn't call. But I see you having a tweet here. Thank you so much. Always being here. You can write whatever you can write in the field. Send our inbox if there's any information you want to share with us. Every information will be considered classified, and we will not disclose it. However, depending on what you send, we will also verify that. But we'll keep the privacies of our people to verify our sources. We treat them with high regard. We want to thank you so much for the time this evening. I joined the Liberals. I know tomorrow, Pa, get ready. He's going to throw the red meat out there again to the extent that you're going to be confused. Nobody knows where he stands. Here one day today, the next day he's on the other side. But that's what makes him the Liberal. He said he's involved. He's unstable. So don't blame him. Well, folks, have a pleasant evening. By God's willing, we're going to be back here again as a team on Friday.
Le parrain permanent, Herniantier, son manoir de Wayman, mon papa, mon séquela rock, de Weteblu, ma blue, de Wayman. Sabrina, where planning and not moment in Nia, General Jamba, a Seuriol. Mon papa, mon boy, the Wayman, make our bang, moi, blah. And he said, the block, merci beaucoup. Encore la magie. Et puis, à des démons. Aïe, et puis, à des démons. C'est un j'ai été plié, des sacs, mais on est plein de côté. Et pas pour faire de pécou, des beaux plats à sarou. Et dans le petit, il y a bon yawa, tu prends, on dit que tu as des manouos. Oui, oui. Nyobi money kayo. Parce que oui, blé maïe, mon papa, on est beau firme. Merci beaucoup. Le très ancien Yves Calais, Assegna Okaï. Le grand frère Oula Michael. Allons seulement. Classé maintenant, Loisa Maguata, Banoche Manuata, La Wadi Matuata, Yete Florent, Way des Ontiac,